Good morning, Heidi Foy with Bullfrog Creative. We are so excited to be here for round two wrap up on the NFR Hangover. You guys stay tuned. We've got some pretty great conversation coming out. I had to literally tell everyone to stop talking so that we can come in and start talking on here. So you guys are not going to want to miss this. All right, so before we get started with all of the lovely conversation, we do have a little bit of business to take care of. Also, we want to, I have a special announcement from one of our presenting sponsors, but also want to thank everybody else that has been involved. Of course, Tony Branquinho, Jim Boy Hash. We definitely want to give a shout out to those guys. I know this is time consuming and it is fun. So I don't know if you really can call it work when you're doing something that you love or talking about rodeo anyways. We also want to give a shout out to Cinch Jeans. They have been a partner of Bullfrog Creatives for now a little over almost 2 years. Okay, a year and a half-ish. But the special announcement from our presenting sponsor comes from Williams Studio this morning. So yes, it is my aunt and uncle, and this gentleman is super talented. So I'm excited to tell you, we've talked about the booth that he's going to have next week at the Working Ranch Expo. But he just, I have a wild hair getting in my face. He just sent me over a picture of a bronze that he just completed. And we have the opportunity to have naming rights. We would love for you guys to take a look at this. Let me see if I can manage my technology. Let's see. We want you to take a look at this piece of art and come up with a name. Shoot your naming ideas. I'll also, if you miss it here, I'll also post it on the Facebook page, but we want to come up with a name for this new piece. And I will also tell you, if you mention Bullfrog Creatives when you stop by his booth next week, because I know you all are going to stop by, you will get a 10% discount. So there we go. I'm going to remove this, but I'm going to post it on our Facebook page. And you guys just post away on naming ideas. And then, of course, we'll have something to give away if we do choose one of your names. So there we go. Wrap that right up. All right. I'm going to bring in Jim Boy and Tony here, and we will talk a little bit about what we have. Sorry, I got to do production on the back end. All right. I think Jim's camera is frozen because all we have is a cowboy hat, which is so hard for this platform, right?
Oh no, he was waking up.
He's just sleeping. Listen, Vegas is hard.
That was awesome.
For those of you guys that don't know, that was awesome. Totally got me. For those of you guys that don't know, Jim Boy is in Vegas, which we were not lucky enough to go to Vegas last year, and clearly we're not lucky enough to go this year either, right, Tony?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not there again.
Hashtag day job.
Yeah.
What do you do? So Jim Boy is spending way late nights.
Reba, Las Vegas.
Tony and I are falling asleep on the couch, not making it through the rodeo.
Reba, Las Vegas.
Is she playing there? Reba playing there in Vegas?
Huh?
Reba, you said Reba, Las Vegas? Is she playing there?
That's what Satan says. I keep telling him it's Viva. And he's like, no, it's Reba, Las Vegas. Okay, whatever.
That's the generation gap right there. So how late did you stay up? Let's talk about that.
I don't remember.
Any sake shots last night?
No sake. Lots of Pendleton and Crown, but yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that's all right.
That sounds like a dangerous combination if you mix Pendleton and Crown. That's a King Bucker right there.
I've done worse.
Oh my god.
That's a whole different show, though. We'll go.
Yeah. We'll come back around. We're gonna name that one something else. All right. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so I do have to be honest with everyone. I watched the bareback riding. So I did have to do a little bit of family time. We went to a play at Casper College. And I did try to live stream it with my earbud in. And that was a real hard no. And I think that they turn all the Wi-Fi on so that nobody can do that. So I didn't get to see anything. It looks like we might be having some technical issues, which that's unfortunate. Let's see. You guys keep going, and I'll see if I can fix it on my end.
Are people watching us?
I just got a message that there were some technical issues. The video wasn't feeding, so let me go in and see if I need to do something else. I know, right?
Oh, if we're frozen, I got to smile. Let me make sure I'm smiling when it freezes.
I know, at least make it look good. So Monty Turley says mine's working good. Okay, so Carity, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe go out and come back in. I'll open Facebook. Usually when I do that, it messes up. So anyways, why don't you guys, I'm going to bring in our guest, and then if I have, I can hear, had to refresh. All right. Man, you about gave me a little heart attack there, because honestly, I have no options for technology fixing. My only option for fixing technology is turn it off, turn it back on.
Reboot.
Yeah. Because that's what the tech guy always says first. So, but it looks like we're doing good. So I'm going to just keep on going. All right, you guys. Anyway, I missed it. I tried to rewatch it, and I totally thought I just was watching a replay of round 1 once the bareback riding finished. So I went to bed because holy crap, how many cowboys and cowgirls had a round 1 and a round 2 win last night? Pretty great showing. So I'm going to bring in our guest, Justin Rumford. For those of you guys that listen, I sure hope that everybody watching knows who Justin Rumford is. But if you do not, I met him at the College National Finals Rodeo when I was doing production. He was the barrel man and the funny guy of the rodeo. And I will also say that when I first met him, I think his wife was pregnant, and they had just found out that she was going to have triplets, which, and I had just had one, and I was like, oh, no, nope, not for me. So that's one of my first memories of, and I just remember thinking, oh, God bless that woman. So, Justin, I'm going to bring you in here. I might have to make some adjustments.
Jeez, Justin.
Your wife is a saint, for sure.
She's a pretty good chick. I like her.
That's good. So how old are the kiddos now?
They're 8 years old.
That's what I was thinking. So it was almost exactly when I started doing that.
Yeah, we found out right before that we were having triplets, and then I had to leave and go to Casper, and I cried like for 6 hours on the way because I was like, what in the hell am I going to do? But actually now it's not even bad at all. I mean, there for a while when they were little, it was rough. They were in the hospital for 63 days in NICU, but they, there was nothing wrong health-wise. They were just little. And so the hard part was over. Now once they can feed themselves and put on their own clothes, there's really not much to parenting, really. I mean, just hanging out. So I miss them. I'm ready to get home and see them, but they're pretty funny.
Not much to parenting.
You got about another 4 years till they hit teenager, and then to be like, okay, I'm going to stay in Vegas for another 3 weeks because they don't want me around.
Yeah, so Monty says poor gal got paid back big time for rump shenanigans.
Yeah. Well, we wanted 3. We just didn't know we were going to do 3 at a time. So,
boom, 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 done.
Yeah, for sure.
Man. Well, I feel you on the 63 days in the NICU. My child, my oldest, was born at 32 weeks. So we didn't have 63 days, but we were in the NICU for a little bit also. It's rough.
Yeah. Well, luckily, the Rumford family is good at being in the hospital because between my brother and my sister and my dad, we usually have about 1 to 2 surgeries a year. So we've built the whole one side of the Kansas Orthopedic Center, sponsored by the Rumford family. So, but I made it. My goal was not to break a leg in 2021 and rodeoing, and I didn't. So
nice.
Feel good about that.
It's not over yet. I feel like you might have jinxed yourself.
No. I'm done rodeoing for the year.
Oh, okay.
So,
he didn't mean walking down the street. If he gets hit by a bus, that doesn't count. He's still
that doesn't count. That break does not count, Tony.
Oh, that's funny. All right, you guys. Let's talk a little bit of production. How is it looking on the production end? I mean, I think I watched a little bit of the opening before we went into the play last night, Vegas style. They did a little bit, but I wasn't able to listen to it, like a little bit of storytelling also before they went into the entertainment. So I think, I don't know, I really would like to see more of last year's openings.
I want to be critical on that. I want to be very critical on that. Okay. And I don't mean to be a hater, but I do watch, and I'm fortunate because I get to work for everybody, and I get to see so many big rodeos, what works and what doesn't. They had Easton Corbin last night singing a song from 2010. Just roll with it. Why would you? I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a good production move to have Easton Corbin sing "Baby Just Roll with It." It's not even really that upbeat song. Like, what in the hell does that have to do with anything? That was like a couple years ago when they had, before the pump up song was Mo Bandy singing "Someday Soon," and I love Mo Bandy, but I miss the days when I first started coming out here when Flying U ran the openings and they're dropping horses out of the ceiling inside of bells, and they had on Memorial Night when the lady rode in the arena in 1987, and she had one of those wires on her back, and when it was her time, she was pulled off the horse into the heavens. I miss the openings that by the time the opening is over, you're going, wow. Yeah. But like Easton Corbin, baby, let's roll with it. Boy, that makes you want a rodeo, don't it? So I think my honest opinion is, and I don't apply for the finals. I haven't put in to work the NFR because of the great people at Boyd Gaming keep employing me. But the thing is, I feel like that I wish we could bring those openings back. But I think that sometimes it's easier to take, the black box out of the rafters and, do that. There's nothing to it. But I mean, as far as the production goes, like they've snapped it off. My other critical thing is you got the TV breaks this year, and I get that. But why not? Why would you use John Harrison, who's one of the most decorated rodeo clowns in the world, instead of using your rodeo clown? You're paying a plant to dance in the stands, or you're using the Blue Man Group. I mean, why not use the talent you've got? You got so much talent for rodeo. Or if you're gonna have a plant, man, get one of your other rodeo clowns, dress him up as the guy in the stand. So I don't. There's a lot I don't agree with, and I'm not a hater, but being a lifelong person who watches production and evaluates everything, I'm going to be critical, and I know that the people that run the NFR are critical of me sometimes. So, it's not that I'm bashing it. I just, if there's room for improvement, I mean, even Tom Brady needs a coach. So I
listen, you're not the only one, because we've got some comments of people that do agree with you. I mean, I think that we were spoiled, and, obviously they didn't do any of that kind of stuff last year at Globe Life, but there were still some really, really great stories that were told in the openings that we're not getting now. I don't know. The laser lights and all that stuff is cool, but I feel like those openings are better. I mean, I feel the same exact way.
Well, the last year at Globe Life, they told a story. I mean, it may not have been something that pumped you up, but I mean, like the one they did at the Texas Rangers, man, you were kind of fired up. You were you had a connection to our lifestyle, the Western lifestyle and stuff like that. That's what they did last year. And I thought, like I said, we've only had 2 rounds. I thought they kind of bounced back and forth between the Vegas, flare and laser show and then some of that stuff. But yeah, the first 2 nights, and like Justin said, I mean, Easton Corbin, that's great. It's song from 2010, but there's a lot of great entertainers in our industry that sing about, rodeos. You get fired up. I don't know if you guys saw it. I got it yesterday on Facebook. Austin Whaler's new song, back when they bucked on springs. Now, to me, that would be something that's pretty. It ties into the rodeo a little more.
Well, and there are rodeo people that are making a living in the music industry. Like, bring those guys in. They know what the heck. They know about the industry, and they're singing about it and they're writing about it. I mean, I'm kind of biased to Chancey Williams because he's from Wyoming, but let them pump it up. I don't know. I agree. Easton Corbin, it was a good performance, but it wasn't right. Jimbo, what did you say, bud?
I think Austin will be doing his song, I would assume, this week at some point in time.
I tell you what, somebody tagged me on Facebook yesterday and I watched it and I immediately shared it. That was really cool.
Well, I didn't really pay attention to that singer last night, and I couldn't have told you who he was. I went to Rump's rodeo viewing party at the Orleans Hotel, and excuse me. Things were different. I went and watched that when I was here several years ago. When it was upstairs, and it was different last night. And Justin will tell you, there's some kind of different folks in charge there now, and so he's going to try to keep working on that and kind of get it back to where it was. It's a little different, but it's still fun. I mean, for me, going and watching that and taking my sons, and for my sons to get a set in the corner with Bob Tallman and Sharon Camarillo and Kirsten Vold and watch the rodeo, that's pretty neat. I mean, not a lot of kids get to hang out with Bob Tallman and watch the NFR. So thanks, Rump.
Yeah. So, Justin, talk to me about, I know that I'm kind of backtracking now, but we were talking about your podcast, and you do your podcast live every day during the week. What's on track for today, and what's the schedule like if we want to listen to it?
Well, it'll also be on iTunes. Like after we record today, then we'll go to, you can go to iTunes or Spotify or whatever. But we're recording it live at the Rio at 1:00 at the Live with Lucia stage, and we started doing that a couple years ago. And we don't get huge crowds that come down there, but people stop by. But our deal is mostly to put out online, and we do the NFR one every day. And you mentioned him earlier, but Chancey Williams is coming on tomorrow. We had Carly Servey on yesterday talking about, the barrel racing deal. She's multi-time barrel racer. Her husband, Chase, of course, is picking up the finals. And so, it's a pretty cool deal we got going. And me and my partner are Hambone, and my wife takes care of all the back stuff, and Ferg does the all the technical shit. So we got a pretty good group of people, and we enjoy it. It's fun. I mean, we don't skate around the truth, and we don't do like the 12 Gauge Ranch podcast is like, tell me what it's like to nod your head at the finals. We ask like real questions and try to get people to tell funny stories. And so Rope Chat is different than most anything else.
Well, I'm expecting a shout out to NFR Hangover because you signed that clause last night.
Oh yeah,
I'll give the shout out big time for a small fee.
No, it's in the contract.
Just put it on our tab.
Yes.
And I don't want to. Okay, so tell the story about the contract you signed here when you was youngster, when you came here for the convention the first time. Tell us that story, the one you signed with Donna.
Yeah, I got drunk at the South Point my very first year and ended up at a one perf rodeo in Casper, Wyoming on a Saturday night for $500. So, yeah. It was the tribute to Chris Ledoux at the time. Yes. And it snowed, and it was on our anniversary, and we had to drive to Casper, and we didn't have any money. And
$500. Woo!
Yeah, that's not a good deal. So I don't even go to the convention. I'm not a big fan of the convention. I don't think anything gets done there. I went there several years, and I never really booked a rodeo. I booked one rodeo from the convention. And so I tell all those guys, look, if you want to book me, just call me. Let's not do that, because bad deals get made at the NFR because the committees get to drink in.
But Casper won with that.
So
yeah.
You didn't, but we did.
Have you watched the podcast where he talks about the committee guys?
Okay. The stereotypical Las Vegas national finals rodeo committees where everybody's wearing the same shirt and name tags, and they go in groups everywhere they go. Like, you never just see one committee. They're always all together, and they're always got badly shaped hats, and they're drinking heavily.
Because they're city council members, not cowboys.
Well, I did book one rodeo really good the last year I was at the convention. This guy, I had these pamphlets, and I was handing out, just a Rumford Rodeo Clown. So I handed these pamphlets out, and I said, here, take some of these. And this guy goes, we don't need you. I said, good, I don't want to work your shitty rodeo anyway. And so then the guy, he goes, well, here, let me grab some of these. So he grabs them back, and he goes, well, maybe we will hire you. I said, I don't want to work your rodeo.
No.
And he said, he goes, well, we want to hire you. I said, you don't have enough money. He said, we got more money than you know what to do with. I said, I tell you what, I'll work your rodeo, but I want paid in cash. I want $2,000. I said, you're going to pay the plane ticket, and you're going to pick me up in the St. Paul, Minneapolis airport in a limo with a guy dressed as an Asian hooker. And they came through on all of that.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool. They even had Nick Kopp, he's a bullfighter. He was dressed up as the Asian hooker. And they had a limo. Tyson Fowler was in the limo at the airport in Minneapolis when I got there. It's pretty cool.
Oh, my goodness.
That's awesome.
What about your other business venture? Can we talk about that a little bit?
That?
You're froze.
He's frozen.
Uh-oh.
There you're back.
Yeah, we talked about last night.
Lost you for a second. Which business venture?
Patches.
Oh, yeah. We got rodeopatch.com. They're awesome for anything you guys might want to have built, like the hat stickers, pretty much anything that you want. You can send go to rodeopatch.com and have it put on your stuff. We're pushing that big time. Of course, you can get your rump chat patches from me. I got like 1,000 pretty last night in the Orleans, got a rodeo patch. And I gave.
He's frozen again.
What a look.
So rodeopatch.com. Yeah, I got great sponsors. Gambling, I got Gold Buckle Beer, Boyd Gaming, Rodeo Patch, Manscaped. That's one of our big sponsors too.
You've got all the vices: gambling, alcohol. I love it.
And I'm a good person. Don't get me wrong.
No, you are. You're a great person. I mean, you let me win that dance off at Casper that year. Jim made us do it. Actually,
I did let you win.
Yeah, I know. Well, it did freak me out when you said, let's get it on, started playing. And that was, I think you won that round because I walked out of the arena, but
I'm a great dancer. I have been for years. It's not a good deal.
That's no doubt about it.
Oh my God. That is funny. I do remember that dance off. We need to get that video.
I'm coming back to the college finals this year, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yes, that's awesome.
We're going to try to get the CNFR Hangover program going, so I can be there too.
I'm going to it's going to be good to go back to Casper so I can talk bad about Fort Scott Community College while they're there. It's going to make me feel good. It's not as much fun doing it online, but
we all have our favorites and not.
Well, and I only really work one college rodeo a year, and that's Texas Tech. And that rodeo is unbelievable. I mean, for a college rodeo, I've never seen anything like it. And so while I was there, I was recording a podcast talking bad about Fort Scott, and it just didn't feel the same. And I told Brett Franks that Clarendon is the Fort Scott of that region, and he didn't really think it was funny. So it's going to be good to talk bad about Fort Scott with Fort Scott kids around. It's been a few years, so I'm excited for that.
For those that don't know Rump, I've known him for a long time. If you can't take having fun, don't come around the rodeo or stay away from him.
Yeah.
Fort Hayes rodeo one year, his dad, he must have had some favor he had to pay off for his dad because he was there supposed to be doing some walking and talking or something. And I had just bought some new jeans. There's a sale on jeans at one of the rodeos a week or two before that. I went and I just felt like I had to buy some jeans. And all they had was the regular fitting 13 MWZs, and them weren't very flattering to me. And
the original skinny jeans.
Yeah. He says, "Hey, when did Wrangler start making jeans out of spandex?" Shut up.
I didn't mean that. The reason I was in Fort Hays is I was on my way home from Logandale, Nevada, and my dad wanted me to stop, and he tricked me into clowning a college rodeo because those college rodeos are rough because college rodeo kids hate to clown. Like, it's funny at pro rodeos like Tilden and Casey and JB and Sage, like we're all buddies and hang out and have a great time. But at college rodeos, like college kids are like, "Oh my God, don't look, here comes a clown." Like college kids absolutely hate rodeo clowns for some reason.
Because y'all might make them do something that would embarrass them. That's why they have an image to uphold.
Hey, speaking of Tilden, he has Pretty Woman drawn tonight.
Did I freeze again?
Yeah, there it is. There.
Okay. Am I back?
Yeah.
You're back.
You are back.
Okay.
Man, your Wi-Fi must be.
Oh, now you're circling. Now he's buffering.
Think that this would be kind of a dead time in Vegas for Wi-Fi, but clearly there's a lot going on.
I just think they don't like having good Wi-Fi in the room because people stick around. They want them down in the casino.
Yeah. Oh, we lost him. He'll have to come back in. I was doing recon this morning, watching the Cowboy Channel to see what they have. And it seems like kind of canned. They do have content in the morning, but it's very canned, just like kind of contestant profiles. So I think we're looking pretty good.
Very good.
I've noticed there's lots of issues here in good old.
This year, they're struggling a little bit.
No, I'm just saying issues with everything. Like the cars around this town, they suck. Like you stop at a stoplight and they shut off. They quit. I'm like, are we gonna have to jumpstart this damn thing, get it going again?
So then, as soon as you hit the gas, like it starts back up and you can go, or what?
Yeah, but my wife's car does it. There's a delay, and then you start to pull out, and you feel like, am I going to get it out in front of this car? It's not fun. I just good old fashioned, let it run. A little bit of fuel we're going to burn here is not going to save the world if we shut off for 10 seconds.
You would think that the shut off and restart would be more like cost more fuel. I know that's not right, but like that doesn't even make sense. My dad's truck does it, drives him crazy.
It shuts my heart off a little bit every time the big semi I see is coming. I'm trying to pull out in front of and just kind of like, whoa.
Oh, it's funny.
All right. So while we're waiting on him to come back, I guess, talk about the rodeo a little bit. Bareback ride, you mentioned Jess won the round again.
89 and a half. I mean, that was, hey, he's back.
Sorry. I don't know what's going on.
You're kind of like talking to Greenleaf on the phone, like, hang on, I'll be like he'd call you. Oh, hang on, and then he cuts out.
Well, I don't know why I'm paying for Wi-Fi and it's not wanting to do whatever Wi-Fi is supposed to do very good.
You're being censored.
There's that technical issue again.
Yeah, but I think I'm good now.
So let's talk about the bareback riding. As you guys know, I did not watch it, so I don't understand this question, but we have a question. There's one bareback rider that looks like he was holding onto the flank strap. Do y'all know what he's talking about?
Said he did. I don't know.
It looked like
He did?
Well, she said it looked like, but okay. So when a lot of times that flank strap will get wrapped around them, or that, is that what it? Because it ain't like he was,
like holding onto it
and grabbing
a little bit more.
You got to lock yourself in. It's like
it looks like it's wrapped around your arms, and to me, that I would be a little bit worried. To me, it's got to be a little bit distracting. It's kind of like the night was at a roping, and Jayton was heeling. His header turns the steer off, and his header's horse stumbled, about went down, and then Jayton missed. And I'm like, That would be a little distracting to me if you're watching, even if you're watching the steer and you're trying to get in time and deliver your heel loop and your header's horse about goes down. I'd be like, whoa, you know. But I can just imagine that flank strap. Now, some of the people out there that may not know a lot about rodeo, a lot of flank men will tape the latch on the flank. They'll tape it to where some guys, them riding vest, if they get in the wrong position or get in the right whatever, they might trip it, you know, accidentally. There's been a few guys through time that it's kind of been said that if they didn't like a particular horse they wanted or they were on and they wanted to re-ride, they could ride back there and kind of get their vest and trip the trip and get a re-ride. But so that's why they went to taping them down, and to keep them on, you know. But no, I would assume that's maybe what happened was.
I don't recall seeing it, but then again, like I said, I was between NyQuil and coffee watching the rodeo, so
it was Zach Hibbler. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say that I remember watching the ride. I'd have to go back.
Yeah, Zach Hibbler, Wheeler, Texas. That's what it was.
So he was 74 last night on all pink at J Bar J.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sparky, when he flanks, the end of his flank is like 35 foot because Sparky's 3 foot tall. So that's the reason it wrapped around his arm. If you've seen Sparky Dreesen, you would know. Like he's the shortest guy in rodeo.
Yeah.
He's even shorter than Too Tall.
Wow.
Too Tall is the little person that's a rodeo clown, a good friend of mine, registered pot grower for the state of California. I don't know if you knew that. He's registered pot grower for the state of California.
Who?
Charlie Too Tall West.
Oh.
Yeah. Stayed at his house one day for a month. And so Sparky's pretty short.
One day for a month.
It's a good time.
Did he put you to work?
Yeah, I was trimming, which turns out is not as fun as you'd think.
No.
It sounds a lot better on paper than it does in real, actual doing it. Oh,
yeah.
Funny.
So Tilden
I feel
Hooper,
like you get yourself into some not great things.
It happens.
All right, you guys. Next. What's next?
Tilden Hooper has Pretty Woman tonight.
Woo! Yeah.
I'm pulling for old Tilden. I mean, he's in his 30s now, so he's getting towards the end, and I would love to see him win a gold buckle.
I'm going on the stage twice tonight with Tilden and with Emily.
Manifest it. Yeah.
I need Emily to do good because I did terrible in our fantasy league last night. Like, my team won $21,000. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I need Emily.
Is this the tattoo league too?
No, we dropped the tattoo league. Funny thing about that is when we did the celebrity tattoo league the first year, I lost. I got the tattoo. Then for the next 7 years, everybody who lost wouldn't do the tattoo. So we quit doing it because it's not fun if you don't do the tattoo. And I'm the only dummy that got the damn thing. So
had no idea that was a real thing, Tony.
No,
You said that. You said that the other day. I had no idea that was a real thing. So
Flint won that year that you lost, and he designed your tattoo, didn't he?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my leg up here.
Let me get my leg up here. I mean, it's a pretty cool one, right?
Yeah, well, me and Flint were pretty good buddies. And so he won and I lost. So he calls me at 6 o'clock in the morning, the Sunday after the NFR. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm asleep." He goes, "Well, I'm going to stop by and get you." I'm like, "No, you're not." He goes, "You got to get a tattoo." I'm like, "I'm going to." And he goes, "When?" I said, "Well, let me get through the weekend." So I had Chase Hawks Memorial in Billings, Montana the next week. So I get to Billings and he calls and he's like, "Man, you have to have your tattoo before the perf starts. That's the deal." So Dusty Tuckness booked me a tattoo appointment at a place called Magic Markers. And I go there to the tattoo shop, and the guy that I walked in, he has got no shirt on. and he's got a tattoo of Satan on his chest, and Satan's hands got a hold of his mouth and tattoo.
Oh,
and,
lovely.
And I'm not much on he was a lovely guy, but I'm not much on needles. And so I had to sit there and get this tattoo from this crazy dude. I mean, he had piercings and his whole face was tattooed. And I had to sit there and try not to cry because I didn't want to look like a punk when I got a guy with a Satan tattoo on him was poking my leg. So I got it. I got the tattoo, and I sent the picture to Flint as soon as it was done. And he put, OMG, you really did it. I was just kidding around. And it was too late, and I still have it.
And nobody did it.
And then the next 7 years, nobody else got their tattoos.
Oh, dang it. He's frozen again.
No, they had to give some money to charity if they didn't do the tattoo.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's all.
They had to pay $5,000, but I was like, what's the point of the tattoo league if no one's going to get the tattoo? But I'm glad I did it. I'm hood like that. Like, let's do some crazy stuff.
Now you can go hang out with the guy that has the Satan tattoo. You guys, you're bonded forever.
You're bros now.
Yeah. That was my second tattoo. So,
I didn't realize that was a real thing. So that's crazy. And it also sucks that nobody else did it, because I feel like you got a pretty decent tattoo.
So we need to get my whole pro fantasy team need to get back on track tonight. If you're listening out there, guys, get it together. So
I'm sure that will spark them right up.
Rump's Bulldogger had trouble last night. Stockton.
Who's his Bulldogger?
Stockton Graves.
Oh.
So me and Justin last night were standing there going, oh, there's several times. Oh,
My fantasy team last night, we were 50-50. I had 4 of them place, 4 of them didn't. And I was fixing to have a really good night, but Vegas Pack breaks a barrier. But other than that, I'm in the top 5% in the average right now, which we got a whole lot of rodeo left. But my daughter's already spending the $50,000. Oh, Dad, we're going to do this and that. I'm like, honey, we got 8 more rounds in the average, and our saddle bronc rider's 0 for 2. Which, if somebody would have said, hey, we got for $100 versus $10,000, Wade Sundell and Wyatt Casper will both be 0 for 2 in the first 2 rounds of the NFR. You put $100 for this $10,000. Will you take it? I'd have taken it all day long. 365 24/7, and I'd be out $100 because I did not see that coming for both those guys.
Yeah, I put Wade on one of my teams. So,
I thought, which he is a great pick. I thought he's coming in there, affordable position. He's gonna light up Thomas and Mack, and he just hasn't got tapped off yet. But it's coming. I can feel it.
Well, and I think we talked about it yesterday. Everybody, typically there's like this build up for everyone. Like, everybody gets a slow start and then goes, but it doesn't seem like that's the case for some people. Like, they hit the ground running, and obviously we got a couple of guys that are 1 and 2 round wins. Like,
he's back.
He's back.
Well, you've got Jess Pope, who goes back-to-back round wins, and you've got Dirk Tavener, NFR rookie in the Bulldog, and but like I say, it's not the first time he's been in the building. He's hazed here before, and he just snaps 2 off and wins back-to-back rounds, and it looks like he's run 100 steers inside the building. And just looks.
He has.
This proves my fact that there again. I've always said when I hazed a bunch of steers in the slack or perf, if I'd already hazed a few, that helped me with the start when I backed in the corner of the Bulldog. I always
absolutely.
So I think that gave him an advantage being a rookie Bulldogger here, because he knows how critical that start is and how fast it has to be here.
Well, and I think also him being inside this building before, he knows what the energy feels like inside there. Even though he hasn't been on that other side, he's got the feel. He knows, like you say, how important that start is, how critical it is, and to get off on get started on the right foot. And he's come out of the gates firing. It's been really impressive, and it's exciting because, like I say, I know Jim Boy, you probably talked to him a little bit back at the college finals when he was there, Dirk, and he's a great young man. And it's great to see him finally make the finals after being on the bubble for a few years and have a great start to his NFR.
No.
I kind of feel like he's he's my Cinderella, like he's the Cinderella story.
Yes.
You know, how many times he's been here but hasn't been here. So I'm excited for him. I mean, obviously we've got a lot of rodeo left, but he's taken a couple of really good first steps.
Yes, for sure.
So what happened? Like, you guys just keep going. Next event.
Team roping.
Derek Begay and Brady Minor, I mean, the first sub 4 second run, and I mean, they just spit one out last night. They were 3.9 last night. Just made a great run. I got it pulled up right here. And that's kind of the team that was thrown together because of Brady qualifying, Riley, you know, his horse going down at Pendleton, breaking his leg, and then they needed to win big at Salinas, and it didn't happen. So Brady still gets in. Derek has a phenomenal end of his summer. They're kind of the team thrown together. I put him on my fantasy team because I just think it's, you know, Brady Minor's due to have a good finals, and Derek Begay is just solid. 3.9 last night to win the round. Oh, and Begay's on a backup head horse too, and I mean, they just smoked one last night. Coleman Proctor, after having, you know, tough luck in the first round, comes back. Him and Logan Madeline 4-2. Clay Smith and Jake Cork will just make another solid run last night, placed third. Buddy Hawkins, Andrew Ward get by one, 4-4. Clay Tryon, Jake Long, they take a no time in round one, come back 4-4, so they split fourth, and then Driggers and Noguera place again 4-6. And if you look at the predictions, like I say, we're way far away from the end, but they're predicting Caleb and Junior to be your world champions. Like I say, a lot of rodeo left. Dustin Egaskiza, he's 0-2. I don't expect that to last. He's going to tap off, and they're going to go fast, but that average is going to play such a huge part. If they get too far behind, that's going to really play a factor in the world title race. But last night it was, you know, the veterans, Begay and Minor, that step up, first sub 4 second run, and 3-9 and made a heck of a run. Those steers are big, they're heavy, they're strong, and it's going to be the header's job to keep their head horses up and not let them get tight in that building. And we all know how that goes come round 4 or 5 after, you know, they've been just running and gunning for the first 4 rounds.
Well, hey, Justin, when you're watching the team roping, and I've mentioned this before on this show last year, the green helmet that's hanging behind, you know something about that, don't you?
You know, somebody told me, John Wagley and those guys that, you know, and they've told me what it is, but honestly, I haven't paid attention.
I thought Tommy came up with that years ago.
It's I don't know. It's something about hitting your head. And as strict as everybody is to Thomas and Mack, I can't believe they allow to hang that helmet there. And the people they're like, some people said it's a satellite. Yeah, because that's what you need on your time event is a yellow satellite. Like it's got something to do. I don't know.
Well, I was told years ago, that Tommy came up with that because back in the back throughout the day when they're bringing cattle up and back and forth, whatnot, there's the bow gates back there, and everybody had hit their heads on that. They're pretty low. I don't know if it's just walking or a horseback or whatever, but I guess I was told that Tommy went out and bought this green bicycle helmet, whatever.
I guarantee he didn't buy it.
But he had these like Martian antennas on there. You can't really see them now. But used to, you could see the antennas sticking up.
Well, you can't even ask my Uncle Tommy, because if you ask him about that, he would tell you that he helped design the Thomas and Mack. I mean, I'm full of crap, but my Uncle Tommy's a liar. So there's no telling. I would say that he probably did not come up with that helmet. He probably just told everybody he did. That's Tommy. And I know he didn't buy it. That Tommy, he hasn't made over $2 in 30 years. So, yeah, I don't know about the helmet. But I do see it every perf, and it bugs me. I wish somebody'd take it and throw it away.
Oh, that's tradition.
You can't now. It's like
there's a lot of tradition. Like, you know what? When you have Easton Corbin singing "Roll with It," tradition's out the gate. Get rid of the helmet.
Because that's how we've always done it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And if anybody needs a helmet, it's Andy Hilton, who has to push every animal out of that chute.
Oh.
He's so proud he got that Prefert sponsorship to wear on his coveralls. I joked around, Andy's my good friend. I said, you need to sell a sponsorship on that bald spot in the back of your head because it gets a lot of airtime during the old time events at the finals.
He could stencil Prefert right across there. That would be perfect.
Yeah. I could put a rump chat patch on it, but
there you go.
Yeah, from rodeopatch.com.
Oh, I love it.
We need to start reaching out to Hair Club for Men.
Yeah. The saddle bronc riding has been crazy to me how many buck-offs we have. I couldn't believe that Wade Sundell bucked off his first two. The first perfs, he had that Mobetta horse, Sioux City Sioux. They rode that horse in the Grand Entry. That's how rank he is, and he bucked off Wade. Wyatt Casper, how did he get bucked off? What's going on with that? And what really sucked in the bronc ride last night, my other guy, both of my guys, Cole Franks in the bareback ride and Dawson Hay in the bronc ride, both got re-rides. And so the bronc ride, I feel like they haven't even bucked the buckers yet, and they're bucking off just the good horses. So I'm hoping maybe these guys, I don't know, get a beer, do something, like quit getting bucked off. It's round 3.
Well, that's what when your internet went down, that's what we were talking about. I said, if somebody would have said, hey, you put up 100, I'm going to put up 10,000, and they said that Wyatt Casper and Wade Sundell would both be 0 for 2, I'd have taken that bet all day long. And to have both those guys 0 for 2, that's just shocking.
Yeah, that don't happen. Like, Wade, no. He went to Freedom and got on a bunch of horses at Frontier Ranch. And I mean, not just like hoppers, like he got on some buckers. And so I think this is my thought. I've never made the finals, but I honestly think sometimes these guys, they're so excited and they work so hard to get to the finals. And then once they get here, it all kind of falls apart because they've thought about it and worked for it. Now they're here, and then it just all kind of drops off. And like I said, I don't know that. I'm not criticizing them because I've never made the finals, but I honestly do think that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just overthink it.
The relief of I finally made it. We're here.
Right.
And, yeah.
And especially with Wade being back, after, 2018, he got hurt in 19, to climb his way back and be here. Just like you say, that energy, excitement, I'm here, I'm back. And it's almost, even though they're not known it, maybe just a mental, like that you relax a little more than they need to. I don't know. Like I say, I've never qualified. The closest I think the arena floor is, I got down to the very front row one time to take a picture in 2001 with my brother. So,
yeah, they need to change something in their routine.
But, the bucking horses, I will tell you this, like, they got, man, these guys now, the bucking horse deal is unbelievable about how awesome these horses are getting. Like, especially, like you look at Colin Pickett. I mean, he brought a ton, and Wyatt got bucked off last night off of one of Frontier's off Maple Leaf that was, a horse of the year. But the stock contractors, this horse deal is crazy because they're breeding these horses and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I love watching the stock contractors on the back of the chute because they all just can't wait to talk bad about each other, because all stock contractors hate each other. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they just can't wait to see who gets a re-ride. And I made a joke a couple years ago and I took a lot of heat for it. I said, whoever has the first horse that they give a re-ride on, that person has to spend the winter in Ike Sankey's basement. And so what really sucked was last night was like with Dawson, that horse that he got on was from Pete Carr, and that's a bucking sucker. That's a great horse. The flank broke.
Right.
So that's how he got a re-ride. So what sucks is like they give a re-ride on that horse, but I wish that he would go back in the draw later on, over the next 7 days, because that dude is a bucking horse. And in the bronc ride especially, I feel like a lot of times just like some of the guys don't have the trip, some of these horses don't have the trip. Look, last year, Womanizer from Cervies was Saddle Bronc of the Year. That dude was amazing. They won San Antonio, on that horse. Brody Kress, that horse was phenomenal. Gets to the finals, damn near give a re-ride. So, these horses sitting out those pins, they're not, going through their normal, normal rodeo ritual. So I think the horses and the Cowboys both are going to have, kind of some clips and some on and offs, but I've been blown away the buck offs in the bronc ride this year. It shouldn't happen. These guys are good. I watch them all year, But maybe it's just the first couple round jitters, get it all out of the way, and then come back a swinging.
Well, and maybe you can explain. I know Jim Boy can. If they get a reride, that horse doesn't go back in the draw, right? If your horse is they reride option, the stock contractor's horse, that horse is out for the rest of the finals, right?
Yeah, that's the way it is. There's some crazy exceptions. I don't know if you remember years ago, a long time ago, like Skull Specific Bell. Do you remember that bull? He hung the horn in the gate, and they swung the gate, and his head got caught in the gate, and they give him a reride. They let him come back. They had gosh dang, I can't remember that. Cross the Wyoming Line, who won the Bull of the Year a couple years ago. Kind of the same deal. They brought him back, but I mean, as far as that goes, they're not too good about letting animals come back, especially with the flank coming off. But it sucks for Pete. Pete Carr has worked his tail off to put together a good string of bucking horses, and these guys wait all year for this, and it's missing a free throw when you need one when your flank breaks.
Yeah. Well, like I say, there's no adjustment. Like, okay, hey, the flank strap broke. It wasn't the horse had a bad out. It's just
it wasn't the horse's fault.
But it's cut and dry. Nope, it was a reride option. That horse is out. So
for sure.
That's a really interesting perspective too. I mean, when you're a contestant, you get your one shot, but it's the same too for the stock contractors. Those horses have that one shot. So I appreciate that point of view and perspective, Rum.
Yeah.
Well, so what horse did Tilden draw tonight?
Pretty Woman in the bareback riding.
Whose is that?
The Pretty Hair Flow drew the Pretty Woman.
I think it's awesome. So I'm pulling for you, Jim Boy.
I know.
Yeah. It is a rematch. He actually has been on that horse in this town before. Not at the Thomas and Mack, but at the Orleans. The very first year when I sold them horses to Hilo, I thought Pretty Woman would be the one, to make the final. She was the big time sell for me. Garden City Gal actually just traded for a Night Jacket stud, which wasn't a bad deal either. But Jessica and Brock Baker, my assistant coach, they both told me, they said, you watch Garden City Gal make the NFR before Pretty Woman. And I'm like, nah, she's just kind of a circuit finals horse maybe. But she actually came here in the bronc riding that first year that they got to come here. But Pretty Woman was at the shootout at the Orleans, and Tilden drew her there at the Cent shootout. I can't remember how it went. It was okay. Not at all. Oh, he got jerked down, Jalen said.
Not anymore. You're not going to jerk Tilden down now. Tilden could ride a tornado if he could just find somebody to pull his latigo. He could. I love Tilden. Like, I mean that. When when in rodeos, so many times we say, oh, I love that guy. But when I say I love Tilden, I want to wrap my arms around him and show him that I love him. That's how much I do, honey. I do. He's a cool guy. And I'm not saying that from a weird point of view, but I love Tilden Hooper. He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met. Okay. I made fun of Casey one time years ago, and he still kind of holds it against me. But I really want Tilden. If Tilden could get the buckle, gosh, you know what? It would do my heart good. So that got weird. I'm sorry.
I picked him.
We don't judge.
I picked him to win the world on my tiebreaker deal. So
yeah, I
hope because he hasn't had. I know the first night wasn't great. I don't think last night was great. Was it for him?
No.
I can tell you here.
Tilden, he's got to get the thing is, like, his first round horse was pretty fast and went. It was that second shoot on left hand delivery. Got to the corner real quick. For Tilden, with his body style and his riding style, he needs one to kind of set up going down the pin and really buck, where he can spur because he got a little bit longer legs. Tim O'Connell, he can get them quick horses around the corner, but like where Tilden, that's why he's always done so good at Salinas and Pendleton and the huge arenas where they got room to just buck. So Tilden, he's rode good, but he hasn't got his fit yet. He hasn't got the horse that works the best for him. So
that really fits his style.
Yeah. So, I mean, when one sets up and is super ranked, that's where Tilden shines. Like, I've seen him when he got on Gunfire and like he digs it. He wants one to buck. So when the harder one bucks, the better Tilden rides. If you just have a decent horse, he's going to have a decent ride. If you got a rank horse, you can have a rank ride. That's just the way it is with Tilden. And
like I say, last night he gets wins 6. He's 85.5, but he was 80.5 in the first round. So he's sitting 6. He's actually splitting 6th in the average right now with Tim O'Connell, and Tim hasn't placed in either round yet either. So like I say, tonight's the night, Jim Boy.
And that Tim, he looks mad when he gets off. You guys notice that? But his hair is always combed like perfect. But like Tim, when he gets off his bareback, he just looks like he's going to go punch somebody. You guys see that?
I think that's why the judges are wearing their masks right now. They don't want to know who's judging what. So, it's not anything to do with COVID protocols. They don't know who did the judging. They're just kind of mixing them up out there.
Oh, yeah. I threw one of the judges underneath the bus because I stalked these Facebook feeds to make fun of people. And there was somebody that was talking bad about the judges. And this nobody guy said, I'd like to know all the judges' names. And I put Chuck Haas, Chuck Haas, Chuck Haas, Chuck Haas, Chuck Haas, Chuck Haas. So anyhow, that's what I've done.
You're helping the judges out, making them be accountable.
Oh yeah, but during the NFR, that's my favorite thing, to see all these people that never rodeoed talking about the rodeo. Like after the first night, when there's a fat dude from Kansas who got on a bull at the county fair in 1983, and he's on there. By God, I can't believe they bucked them bulls. That first perf, I could have spurred them. I'm like, let's not get too crazy there, Barry. Yeah, you placed at Iola, Kansas in '83 on one of my grandpa's bulls he got from Central Livestock for $100. You're no JB Mooney. And during the NFR, you get a lot of people that know about rodeo.
I don't know if that was the one I commented on there this morning. I said part of the problem is we're raising 4 generations of a bucking bull to every 1 generation of a bull rider, and it's up to you bull riders, you old bull riders. Y'all should have raised some better bull riders. I mean,
well, and you know what?
Morris about the only one that's succeeded. I tried, but physically, the gene for a bull rider ain't in my family.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, like, I love bull riding. I really do, but I want to. What's wrong with bucking some spinners that first perf and letting them guys get a little momentum?
That was awesome. I mean, actually, to have what do we have, 11 rides that first night? The crowd loves it. The contestants love it. It got the rodeo. It ended the rodeo, the first round of the NFR, on a high note. And then they bring in what they did last night, and they thump some people. But it was cool to see that, to have 11 rides in the first round of the NFR in round 1.
Well, and then you got the armchair quarterbacks that, by golly, the PBR. Look, here's the deal. The 2 biggest stock contractors in the PBR, D&H and Chad Berger, they're both here, okay? You can't do this. The PBR doesn't have 10 days in a row, okay? You can't buck chiseled every perf. You're not going to bring in those bulls like that because you got 10 days, So
you got to spread it out.
I mean, I think the bull riding director of the PRCA, Cody Rostocki, I think he's done a great job. I looked at that list and I think, and I know Cody very well, and he puts the effort in, and it's easier in today's day and age because years ago, before the internet, when Jim Boy was rodeoing, before cell phones, and but these guys can get these videos. You can email videos to the director. So this Cody, but not only does he watch the emails, he goes to these events, and he goes, and you're always going to have stock contractors that, by God, I got 4 at the house that were better than that one. Everybody does, man. That's like, you always got a hotter chick that goes to a different school. That's just how it is. But, I if you look at the sheet on all the bulls, man, I thought overall they're going to be good sets of bulls. I mean, it's let them ride some, because the thing is, if you buck them all off, oh, that's sorry, ain't nobody ride. Well, then you first perf 11 of 15 ride. By God, those bulls are sorry because 11 guys rode. Look, man, it's just how it's going to be. You know, it's rodeo. You can't. It's the ultimate in reality TV. You can't script it. So I'm not hating on the bull riders. I'm pulling for all of them. You know.
No, like I say that first perf, it was awesome watching because I mean we all remember the times where like last night we had 4 ride, but they'd go how many rounds and have only 2 or 3 ride, and it gets disheartening as a spectator. You feel bad for the contestants, but you're like, boy, I'd sure like to see more ride. Well, when they have them ride now, oh well, hell, like you say, 11 out of 15 road. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm concerned for my friend. I did not like JB getting whipped down, but one thing about JB, he's pretty tough. If he can, as long as he don't have the concussion protocol, I think he'll be good. And it's been so fun to see him and people, my God, JB, this and that, he needs to retire. Well, you know what? He made it here. Okay. He made the finals. Let him ride, do what he wants to do. But if you look overall in the bull riding, when you have Sage and Stetson and Ruger Piva, and I mean it's a good bunch of dudes. I mean, they're besides just good bull riders, they're great people. I mean, they're not like the old days. These guys aren't smoking cigarettes and drinking Budweiser in the parking lot before the rodeo like they used to do here. But I mean, these dudes, they're going to the gym every morning. They're in sports medicine. I think it's a pretty good group of guys. And tonight's bulls I'm going to say it right now. I'm saying they're going to ride 3 or 4 tonight, tops. So, I mean, there's some buckers out tonight and throughout the whole deal, and that's one other thing with the bull riding and everything at NFR, you're not going to keep everybody happy. I mean, there's always, but the people that complain the most are the people that aren't here. They're the people watching at home. So, I mean, I have to bite my tongue so many times when people talk about the Bulls or the Bronx or, that bull sucked. That bull's been amazing. Go to his pro bull spats. Oh, yeah, he may have had a bad trip, but guess what? They've marked him 23 or 24 10 times throughout the rodeo season.
And everybody, every event, every sports, you're gonna have an off day. People just, it's nobody's perfect. Well, except
yeah, like the bull that Sage got on the first perf, that bull slam dunked him at Pendleton. And that bull's been super ranked all year. You can go to Pro Bull Stats and look it up. It's not me saying that. And then, by God, that was just an old practice bull. Well, yeah, you practice for $27,000 if you win, So it's just I really do enjoy watching it though, and I really need everybody to try a little harder. Stockton Graves. I don't like to bring this up, but yes, I know you want to know, and the answer is yes. I did beat him in the 2001 in the Central Plains region of college rodeo for the title. Yes, I did beat Stockton. Not a huge deal.
Wait, you won the region, bulldogging?
Shut up, Jim Boy. I did. 2001.
Did you win it twice?
What?
Did you win it twice? Did you repeat?
No.
I did.
No. Oh, but did you beat Stockton Graves? No, but I did. It's not a huge deal. I
beat him to the title. I did it in 93 and 94.
I barely remember beating Stockton Graves, but Stockton's on my fantasy team, and he's had heck. I got Jeremy Bueller. I got Coleman. Cole Franks is kind of would need Cole to kind of kick it in the butt. I got Dawson Hay. I got JB. But like I said, I had a horrible night. $21,000 for my whole team. But You know what? It's Saturday in Vegas. Like anything can happen on a Saturday in Vegas. Like
you're making me want to get on a plane and get there right now, Rump. Honestly, I'm kind of pumped.
So you know what? When you see the hookers walking down the street with NFR hoods on, you know that it's Vegas, and that's what I love about it out here.
You're back in the place the NFR is supposed to be.
Amen.
You're home.
Tell a deal about the security guard, the cop.
Oh my gosh! So I'm standing at the door of the Orleans, and And I understand the masks. Like I hate the idea of masks. And I don't think it works because I wore a mask religiously. I did everything I was supposed to, and I got COVID. And so I'm like, whatever, if you want to wear a mask, great. But they will make you wear a mask at the Orleans. So this guy comes into the casino 2 nights ago, fall down drunk. This guy looks terrible. He's literally smoking a joint, and he's got a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 in his hand. And so I'm standing there, and I wish I would have filmed it, but my phone was dead. It would have been a great Snapchat. Well, he comes in and he falls into the statue of the alligator by the door. And here come the cops. I'm like, they are going to get his ass. And they ran up to him, and he stands up, and they said, "Sir, you have to have a mask on."
That's the only thing they were worried about is his mask.
Yeah, that's what I told the security guard at the elevator here is pretty for the mask. So the lady said, "You got to have a mask." I said, "Ma'am, on the way to this elevator, 3 different hookers tried to offer their services for cash." And I said, "You're worried about me wearing a mask?" But that is crazy in Las Vegas. You think about it during the NFR, a town that's Sin City, a town that celebrates sinning, celebrates overindulgence through drinking, eating, buffets everywhere, a city where you can have an escort brought to your hotel room in 30 minutes or less is now worried about your health. You know what I'm saying? Does that not make sense?
Last night he says, when you can get an Asian hooker to your room quicker than a pizza.
Yeah. But you got to wear a mask for safety. And the lady told me, well, prostitution's legal. Well, you know what? Okay, this is, I don't want to be weird. I would say it's on Rough Chat. But so my friends, they went across the street to the Spearmint Rhino for the nude lady show, the old booby bar. Those ladies in there are completely naked, but they have on masks. Now, what kind of sense does that make?
That just explains our world from 2020 to now. That just sums it up.
I didn't go, did I, Ashley?
Whoa.
But you know what? I mean, like, I don't get that. Like, they had on shoes too. They had on high heels, but they had high heels and a mask, and that's it. Walking around naked with a mask on. But I guarantee, if I went downstairs in the Orleans right now completely naked, as long as I had a mask on, they wouldn't say nothing to me. I would just be one of the guys. So
there's Ron. Got his mask on.
That's how much I love the NFR. I'm willing to put up with wearing a mask all over this damn place. But I wanted to do like JB. JB had a mask and he cut a hole in it, stuck a cigarette in it. So, he
had his mask on. There you go.
Well, then half of them did. They got at the convention the other day, this rodeo committee, I won't say where they're from, but they had on mesh masks. They're drinking beer with their masks on. No one said nothing. I'm like, wait a minute. Like,
that's not doing anything.
It was a mesh shirt. You remember on Urban Cowboy, Wes Hightower, he had that mesh shirt, like that he rode the bucking machine in. That's what they had for a mask. So,
oh my goodness, that's just
And there are a lot of Wes Hightowers around here. A lot of bodacious buckles, a lot of nylon belts. A lot of fur coats. It's
making a comeback. Hey, we're in Vegas, baby.
It's NFR fashion. That's what you need to have a special segment on. The NFR Hangover is NFR fashion, because you can do the dumbest thing in the world and call it fashion. You can you can cut off a pair of corduroy shorts. You could wear a shirt that's made out of an old pair of jeans. You have a bunch of turquoise, and you have huge glasses, and people be like, "Oh my God, you look great!" Like
the Elton John starter kit. You could do the Elton John starter kit, and it would be NFR fashion.
There's so many people posting about the good fashion. We just need to start taking pictures of all the other more eccentric outfits. I've tried to take some pictures, but people keep catching me trying to take their picture, and it gets pretty weird when I'm following them, like, trying to get the shot. But it's all good. Here we go.
Should Hollywood Yates lead that episode? Dusta, oh my gosh. He had on have you seen the movie The Greatest Showman?
Yes.
Hollywood had on the circus hat and an Elvis jacket. Hashtag NFR fashion. Like it was
That's what I'm talking about. Dress
he could pull it
sporty,
off.
hashtag NFR fashion.
He pulled it off, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. It's whatever. I like the classy look, but that's just me. So that's what we're doing. Yes, Katie. The classic Justin Rumford. I actually, funny thing while we talk about fashion, and my wife is sitting right here and she hates it. So I've got 4 of these black polo shirts. I really like them. And I'll wear them day to day. And Ashley's like, you've got to change or wear something different because people think that you wear the same shirt all the time. It's a different shirt. I just like black. Okay. It's my favorite color. So that's why I bought 4 black polo shirts. And even the lady's like, do you know that this is the same shirt? I said, I know. That's why I'm buying several because I like it. So, sorry, that's not NFR, but that's Rub.
That's awesome.
I got to talk about barrel racing a little bit.
Yes, because we need Emily. You need Emily to be there tonight. Come on, Chongo.
Did somebody had a post? They have new ground. Tony, you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about that. I thought it was a little bit better last night than round 1.
What does it seem a little lighter in color looking, maybe a little sandier? So I don't know, but
somebody said something about it being a little sandier. But I say last night,
it looks to me like looking at it, it looks a little lighter in color. I don't know if they lost their dirt in the last year since we was gone or not. Somebody stole it and used it for a building or what, but maybe they need a little more water in it because it's like Dusty said, it's a little shifty the first night. I'm going to promise you that bull that lost his footing last night, it'll be fixed tonight.
Well, here's the deal on the ground, and I know this. And if you listen to the Rump Chat with Boyd, every day that their dirt guide not only checks the arena at 4:00, it's checked, and at 5:00. At 5:00, it's checked in 12 different areas. 3 of those areas are on the barrel stakes, but 12 different areas throughout the whole arena. They pull the moisture and temperature from 8 inches underneath the ground. So in those 12 areas, they can make sure that it's consistent. So when people say, they need to do this and they need to do that, every performance, the whole thing is keeping it consistent, keeping it good and safe. So when people say, well, by God, they didn't water it enough. They watered it enough because they have a moisture content level that they keep consistent for every performance. So, I mean, the thing of it is on that ground, there's a lot of different ways to cut it, but when numbers don't lie. So when you can actually see the moisture content and the ground temperature at the certain time, they're not like, well, let's do this or that. Like they take the ground deal pretty damn serious. And the guy, Alan Reinheimer, who's the GM for the National Finals Rodeo, that's all he does. He's the ground guy. He does not just for the NFR. He does like the ground for some of the most prestigious jumping shows and Rainer shows. Like they've flown him, Alan, to Saudi Arabia to do ground for the Arabian whatever the hell they do over there. But anyhow, this guy he's a dirt guy. So I think if anybody can be trusted, Alan is like the dirt man. He knows the dirt more than anybody. So I don't know. If anything, every time something slips or something happens, well, they need to rake. They need that bull slip. They need more water, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's rodeo. Nothing, stuff happens. Yeah, I broke my leg. I broke my leg by a miniature fighting bull because I stepped in where the third barrel was. Okay. Shit happens, but I don't want it to. Like, I'm all for the safety of I want everybody to be safe and good, but I don't think that blaming the ground all the time stuff happens.
Well, I mean, even last night in the barrel race, Nellie Miller was 14th with a 14:03. I mean, and then Ivy Sabins, I think, hit 2 barrels. She's a 14:29 and kind of pulled up after hitting 2 barrels, but 13 of them were under 14 flat. 13:98.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the ground.
No. Jordan Briggs wins the last hole with a 13:81. I mean, like I said, the ground looked better last night. It's just going to get better. I think, like you said, Rump, they're working on it every night. It's just going to improve. But in the barrel race, what about Donna K. Rule? How was that kind of redeeming and for her to come out 13:56 and win the round after having to sit out last year because of the COVID protocol? Lisa Lockhart wins second. That was what they say, she's 140,000 away from being at 2 million or in career earnings. I can't remember the stats exactly, but it was good watching last night.
It was good to see her back, and she's such a nice lady. And last year she was so classy about the whole not being. I mean, she didn't throw a fit. She didn't, take to social media and run everybody down. She
actually calmed everybody down.
Classy. She was like, "It's okay. It's just a rodeo. I'll be back. Nobody worry." Which I cannot imagine the patience and just the overall attitude that would take. Because if it was me, I would be crying. I would be trying to find lawyers. I'd be punching walls. I mean, it'd make me mad enough to throw a baby. You know what I'm saying? So, like, but when I think of the barrel racing, I just hope everybody is safe and their horses are good. But I hope everybody besides Emily Miller is slow. Emily is the only one that needs to do good, and I think we all could agree to that.
Listen, I really like Emily, but I can't go against our Wyoming girl, Amanda. How did
you can.
Last night?
You can just click on it. It's real easy.
Just embrace it. Just embrace that.
Yeah.
But see, I need Haley because that's my fantasy team. I mean, so we've all got vested interest here.
But we all can agree that Emily Miller should win every round from here out. That's all I'm saying.
Or second behind Haley. I mean, it's all good. I'm placing in the top 2. That'd be awesome.
Well, I'm a huge Emily fan because
you put up with Jim Boy for so long.
Well, yeah, she's so cool. Emily and her husband, man, they come in at rodeos. They're not your stereotypical barrel racers that are there by the time that the barrel race is over. They're gone. Like Emily, she'll come over and drink beer and hang out and just be cool. Like I rodeo 202 performances a year, and I don't hardly know any of these barrel racers at all. And I try to talk to some of them, but they're not much rodeo clown fans, I guess. But like Haley Kinsel wouldn't even know my name. Like if I went to talk, Donna does, but she'd been around for a while. But like I think, Wenda Johnson, she's from Pawhuska, right? I live over by there. I have never met her. I wouldn't even know what she looks like. I want to be her friend, So I do like Steve Hillman. She's always been pretty nice to me. She bought me a hot dog one time at Fort Madison. Not a big deal.
I met one of Rump's neighbors last night. He was telling me about the laundry that Justin has that Ashley has to put out on the clothesline. Justin Sheets. That guy said it's kind of like living next to some hillbillies, but.
Well, that's funny. He is my neighbor, but he lives a long ways away. Like, it's not a neighbor like you step out and get your morning paper and wave to him. Yeah, because he's clear on the other side of the cliff, but he's doing pretty good for himself. He's
obviously got binoculars.
Well, he has a private jet, and I don't. So that's how I gauge if you have a lot of money or stroke. Don't try to tell me how rich you are until you show up with a jet, all right?
Was this his first time here for the rodeo?
Yes. Yeah, he was having a good time. His son-in-law, Tyler Mays, was a great steer roper for a while, and Tyler kind of quit. And Chuck owns an aviation company. So that's, I guess, pretty profitable. It's like stock contracting. You make a lot of money doing it. And so, he was out. But that's what you get first weekend, right? Everybody's here. Hey, we're in Vegas. Let's get drunk, party, and play cards. We're taking the town over. So you have, like, being out here hosting these parties. That's how it works. I watch. Okay, so now Saturday tonight's going to be huge. Tomorrow's a transition day. People are going home. New people are coming in. Yep. Monday and Tuesdays, whatever. Then you hit Wednesday. Man, we're coming. We're gonna tear up Vegas, and you and then the next day they don't show up because they're sleeping. Our friends from home that came out, they partied so hard the first perf, they decided that after all they spent all this money, that they'd go ahead and just sleep all day. Well, so if anybody out there, when you come to Vegas, just take
Better
it
be
slow.
prepared.
Just ease into it and come to my party and spend lots of money on alcohol.
I know Luke's first year he made it in 2001. My other brother Casey and I, we turned into vampires. I mean, we literally ran all night and slept all day. And finally, my mom comes to us about round 7. Is like, hey, you guys are getting up and you're spending the day with your dad at the Cowboy Christmas. We're like, we just went to bed. She goes, I don't care. It's your turn to hang out with your dad. But I mean, literally, it was like, oh, and it took about a week once we got home to get back on normal schedule. And, it took a day because we were up feeding cows. But it was like, yeah, you get out there, you get running hot.
Well,
and 20 years ago when I was 26, it was a lot easier. Now it'd be like, oh, the rodeo's over. Let's go have dinner.
Well, like, especially now where they moved it up to 5:45.
Oh.
I mean, the days here go by so fast. And that's why when Jim Boy's like, would you be up in the morning? I'm like, man, I'm still in Oklahoma time. So I'm getting up at 6 o'clock, which is, I know I'm getting old because I can't sleep in past 6:30. But, the days go by so fast. And for a contestant, I've tried to get somebody to come on Rump Chat. And, we Rump Chats at 1, from 1 to 2. They're like, man, we just don't have time. Well, the days go by so fast. You get up, you have breakfast, you take a shower. They go to a signing at 10:30 and one at 11. You get something to eat. By the time you get, do anything else, it's dang near rodeo time.
Yeah.
So that I don't know, the 5:45 deal, I think it's definitely, I know it's only 1 hour, but man, it sure seems like it's so different, because if you're going to leave and beat the traffic, you dang near have to leave the hotel at 3:30, 4 o'clock to get there.
Was that for Cowboy Channel?
What's that?
Was that for Cowboy Channel? I mean, why did they move it up?
That's what they said.
I heard Cowboy Channel, but I also heard that the casinos, they wanted people back in. They wanted them back inside the
after the rodeo.
After the rodeo, they wanted them back and moved up the buckle ceremony. Just it got people back to the tables, back to the restaurants an hour earlier is what I heard.
But that buckle ceremony, that was one bad thing. Remember, because you started at 11.
Oh, it was late. Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time, if you won the buckle, by the time that you got there and fought the traffic and the 94,000 team ropers of the South Point, by the time you do all that and you get back to your room, it's dang near time to get up and start all over. So that's why I wanted some of those guys to come on Rump Chat, but they're like, man, honestly, like if they do 2 autograph signings, and plus, most of these guys have families. So the last thing they want to, run around, they need a little chill time. And I worked out here in 2004 for Frank Thompson. I took care of his bulldog and horse. I had Frank Thompson and Birch Nagard, and I fed their horses, exercised their horses, cleaned stalls, and I did all that for them in 2004. And then they would show up right before the perf and get on. And then as soon as they bulldogged, they'd bring me their horses and they were gone again. I never hardly saw them the whole time. So, I mean, the pressure of $27,000 of performance, and having your wife and your kids and you got family coming to town, you got people that you don't want to come that are blowing you up, man, let's go to breakfast, let's go do this. You don't want to, but you need to, and you owe them money. And I mean, I don't, but so there's so many different things. Like maybe that's one reason it's good I never made the finals. It would just be too stressful. But like even when I was clowning the NFR, it was the dumbest thing in the whole world. I had to go to an 8 o'clock meeting. I had no microphone, no axe, no nothing. But I had to go to an 8 o'clock meeting, a 3:30 meeting, and a 4 o'clock meeting every day. So by the time I get up at 6:30 and go to my meeting and come back, and then I would go do stuff for Cinch, jeans and shirts. Lead, don't follow, cinchjeans.com. And the day just was shot. So, because after 4 o'clock, we had to be checked into the building at 4 o'clock, which was dumb because we would go to the bullfighter locker room. It says in your contract, the clowns and bullfighters can't leave the room unless you're going to sports medicine until the barrel race, which is just.
You have to sit back there?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, we go to some fantastic venues. Like at San Antonio, in our locker room, we've got a refrigerator. We've got exercise bikes, which is where I hang all my stuff. And, like these immaculate, but at the Thomas and Mack, the bullfighter room is like an 8 by 10 foot room where and this is gross, but like for some reason, all the old men that have worked there at the finals since 1985 all come in and use the old pooper every night. It just smells terrible. So, yeah.
That's where I always go during the college finals. I go to their locker room.
Yeah. And so you sitting there, unless you're going to sports medicine, you can't leave the room. And that's
that goes
kind
back
of
to what you were talking about before. Like, why can't you guys why can't the Barrelman be more entertaining?
Well, I understand it. This is for the Cowboys. Sean Davis, who's the living legend. A lot of people don't know this, but I stay in Arizona. I go to the racetrack a lot with Sean Davis, and I've learned quite a bit about everything from Sean. But it's like he said, this is for the Cowboys. We don't care about you. This is the NFR, and I get that.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, it's kind of hard for me because from a production standpoint, I'm like, what? Like I was saying, why wouldn't you use John Harrison? He's awesome. But no, we have to stand there, and they monitor that. Like if you get caught and you're not sports medicine, you're standing in the hall, like you get a $250 fine. Like they're not friendly because they don't have to be,
Yeah.
And that's one reason I'm glad I don't apply for the finals.
And I get that it's for the Cowboys.
I understand that yes, but you'll have to work hard to qualify too.
Well, it's for the Cowboys, but it's also for the fans, and it's entertainment, and it's all part of rodeo. The Barrelman, the act. It's rodeo. It encompasses all of it, not just the Cowboys. So I think to fill some of those that ad space airtime, it would be great to utilize, like we said earlier, like you were saying earlier, Justin, utilize the acts that we have, the talent that we have in the industry. That would be awesome to showcase to them also.
Yeah, and that's like, and I don't mean to talk bad about it, but the crazy thing is like you work all year, you rodeo for a living, and then you come to the finals, and a lot of these people treat you like you've never been to a rodeo. And one of those guys is named Kyle Chapin. He's my arch nemesis. He's a terrible person, and we're going to fight someday. No, I'm just kidding. But we're probably not going to fight. But, the thing is, like, at big rodeos, they've got you, and they know they've got you. So when I go to Pretty Prairie, Kansas, when I go to Burwell, Nebraska, they're there to shake your hand, and they're glad you're there. They welcome you in. And, man, if you need this slap on the back, boy, we're so happy to have you. You come to the NFR, and, they seem about halfway upset that you're here. But, they have to run a tight ship. I get that. Just like Sean was telling me that George Strait wanted to stand in the box with Tough Cooper. And Roy called Sean Davis and said, hey, George Strait's needs a pass. He's going to stand in the box with Tough ropes. Sean says, I can't do that. And he goes, it's George Strait. And he goes, it doesn't matter. I can't make that allowance for Tough Cooper because what if the next guy has somebody that they want? So
Cody wants Kid Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so he said, I can't make exceptions. And he goes, it hurts a lot of feelings. But he said, he said, if the dads on the back of the chutes has been a thing where, they wanted, before Louis passed away, they wanted Louis to be there when Casey nodded, and he said, I can't do that because if I let Casey Fields' dad back there, then I'm going to have to let this dad back there. I'm going to have to let this dad back there. Yeah. So so that's where I'm kind of split sometimes because I do understand it has to be a tightly run ship, but also I just wish that some of the people involved with the NFR committee would think, you know what, our pickup man, our bullfighters, our clown, these guys, this is what they do. So, yeah. We because the strictest teacher you've ever had? That's kind of like everybody at the NFR, like there's no smiling, in NFR meetings. So.
Well, my daughter last night, she goes, well, because they're showing Stetson and Ryder, and then they'll show the crowd, show the Wright family. And, well, how come Rusty's not there? I said, he's not qualified. Well, then how come they don't let him down there? I was like, there's limited about who's down there, space. And, well, where's Cody? Same deal. They don't want dads down there. Your helpers are the ones that are qualified, people that are there. And
yeah, like even the flankmen, like, so if you don't have a horse out in that perf, you can't be up there on the passes where you see the yellow dots. I mean, that, they monitor that very well. And there's people hired that you don't know that just look for that find stuff to find people, but you're not sneaking in the Thomas and Mack. I mean, they literally have a security guard every 3 feet, which is crazy because, they said it's always been like that. But, back in the day in the bullfighter room, when everybody was smoking cigarettes and doing coke, they beat up a security guard and nobody got kicked out of the finals, back then. But, I mean, I was literally in full face paint, had all my stuff on, and I was walking to sports medicine, and I didn't have my pass, and I got my ass chewed for walking in the fully clowned out without, and I thought the lady was kidding, and so I tried to joke around, and she didn't think it was funny. But I mean, so that's where I'm conflicted. Like, I understand it's such a tight run show, and I understand the need for rules and why it has to be like that. But I mean, this is the finals. It's the biggest rodeo of the year, man. Let's enjoy it. Let's smile, man. Life's short.
That's
so what Rod Swafford says. I've never heard them mention the pickup man. I mean, it's for the contestants, and without all the other personnel, it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to have any rough stock without pickup men. You're not going to do the bullfighting or the bull riding without the bullfighting.
And both the pickup men, Matt Twitchell and Chase Servey, they're both have won the Pickup Man of the Year award. But that's why it always. I mean, it's just the way it is. They don't. It's not that they don't care. It's just for the Cowboys. They don't really care. Like, you got the bullfighters, Tuckness and Webster and Nathan Harp. Unbelievable the stuff they've done that you don't see. Like, they barely take time. And I joke around about how strict their schedule is. In 2014, Webster got knocked out by the last bull by a bell. Yeah. A bell caught on that bull's back foot and spun around and smoked Webster in the head. So I jump out of my barrel, because Cody Webster is one of my best friends, and they literally drug him to the side of the arena so they could run their sponsor flags. He is unconscious, and the NFR crew, do you remember that? They drug him to the bucking chutes and then ran the flags. He was unconscious. He was snoring in the arena. And they're like, I'm like, should we support his net? No, let's just drag him to the side. We got to run these flags. So
everything that goes against what you're supposed to do when somebody's knocked out, they just grab him by a leg and drag him over here.
They're doing a horrible job of supporting his neck and spine, which Webster, you can't hurt him. He's fine, but he's like punching a tire. So it's just going to hurt you, not him. But, they have a spot in the arena where you're supposed to put your barrel, and you can pack your barrel to try to help out. But by the time that bull goes in the outgate, you're supposed to be back in your spot, and
you're delaying production if it takes another 10 seconds.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, they're pretty strict on we got a bull to hit the barrel when I was there, and I knew which bull it was. It was Broken Spoke of Davis's from California, and I knew that bull from Red Bluff, and you're not supposed to wave your hands unless you're trying to save a guy, and that bull bucked him off, and I go, hi, and boy, he come and smoked the barrel, and I was like, oh yeah. And then I got one of these from Sean, like, kind of joking around, like, I'm smiling right now, but if you do that again, I'm gonna kick you out of rodeo and make fun of you for being fat, I mean, like, just attack you. So Yeah, but it was the NFR was one of the best experiences. I'm so glad I got to do it, and I'm thankful because every boy around anywhere is from the time that you can like rodeo, it's all about the finals. Everyone's like, oh, the finals, the finals. This guy? Yeah. Did he make the finals? No. Well, everybody judges everything against the finals. There's a lot of guys. Corey Wall is one of the best bullfighters there ever will be. He never got to fight bulls here. Lance Britton, unbelievably talented, never got hired to fight bulls at the NFR. You look at all the contestant wise that haven't made the NFR. So, but you're trained in the rodeo and the Western way of life from the time you can think that if you don't make the finals, you haven't had a good career. And I don't agree with that. I think you can have a great rodeo career and never make the finals. Yeah, making the finals is great, but I know personally that one other reason that I don't apply for the finals is I was so wrapped up in trying to get the finals that it almost ruined everything else. Like when the voting, it's 2 weeks of voting. So you get told, hey, you made the top 5. And then you got 7 days until they announce, the barrel man. So for 7 days you sit and think. And then when you get the phone call that, the worst part was I was so focused on the NFR that I was a grouch, wasn't I, Ashley?
You lose track of everything else.
But you know what? That's how it is for some of these contestants. You're just so ingrained. And if you watch all these kids out here at these different conventions and walking around at NFR, that's all you think about. And that's not good. And that's one reason that I knew that I couldn't apply for the finals for a while, because I've been a lot happier, to do what I do with Boy Gaming and make good money. But I wanted it so bad. And then when I didn't get the finals, I would sit and think, what did I do wrong? Or who didn't vote for me? Who didn't vote for me? And why didn't they vote for me? Or why did this guy not and this guy did? And so I would go to slicing and dicing, and then I'd start questioning, well, who are my friends? If that guy was my friend, why didn't he, And so it kind of became an addiction, and it's not a healthy thing. And there's guys here in the arena tonight that are the same way. You're so focused on getting here that it almost ruins your whole year. I mean, as dumb as that sounds,
you lose the joy of the event or of the sport.
Yeah.
Well, and something that I would say cowboys don't often talk about, and I appreciate you mentioning that. I mean, we're conditioning our kids now for the same thing. I think it's great that we have all these events for kids to build up, and now they have junior NFR, but we're kind of setting them up for the same thing still. So it is hard, because if you fail, if you build up and that's your goal for the NFR and you don't make it, then you've built your whole who I am around this one thing, and then what?
Exactly.
So,
and our lifestyle, the Western way of lifestyle, rodeo, it's the NFR is the ultimate, the pinnacle. It's the top. It's our Super Bowl, our World Series. But there's so much other stuff you can get out of it. It's the camaraderie, it's the friendships, and it's the family atmosphere. It's building these bonds and relationships that get lost. It gets this right here. And that's what can get lost, like you say, Justin, when you get, you're focused on the NFR, making it, being part of it. And that's what, I think does get lost along the way. And it's great to have these platforms, this right here, Rump Chat, all that stuff, to talk about the other side of it, the fun side of it, the joking,
Well, I got to tell you about the joking part. So before I got the NFR in 2012, I was the alternate. That was in 2011. I got my card. I was turned down for my PRCA card. I got evaluated, and they said I wasn't good enough to get my card. And I won Clown of the Year in 2012. But in 2012, I thought, man, I could get the NFR. And I thought so much about this. So I get a phone call the day of the vote from Colorado Springs. And the lady said, hey, this is Sarah from the PRCA. We're calling to let you know that you've been selected to be the National Finals Rodeo Barrel Man. And I start crying. I'm like, oh my God. I hug my wife. I call my family. I'm literally in tears. enjoy. Like, I cannot believe in 2012, my second year, I've got the finals, and I'm like, I can finally breathe, and I'm so happy, and I can't hardly stand it. Well, turns out it was Heath Stewart from Frontier Rodeo had his friend from Colorado Springs prank call me.
Oh,
So it wasn't the PRCA.
ouch.
So then I'm like, so because we're all at the Prairie Circuit Finals in Duncan, and he comes over. Heath is laughing his ass off. He's like, boy, I got you. I'm like, oh, crap. And he goes, don't worry, you'll get it. I'm like, okay, I'm so excited. So the rodeo starts at 7. At 6:52, I get a phone call, Colorado Springs.
The real
Justin,
one.
Yes, this is Sarah from the PRCA. Yes, we're calling to let you know you've been selected for the Wrangler National Finals, and I'm about to bust out of my mind as the alternate barrel man. And I'm like, oh. And all the people, like Heath and everybody, they're all sitting around my camper thinking they want to be there. There's people with cell phones getting ready to record my reaction to get in the finals. Alternate. And it devastated me so bad. Like 10 minutes later, I had to go in the arena like, you're rodeo clown and barrel man, Justin Rumford. I'm like, how's everybody doing tonight? So yeah. So it was bad.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
So it was.
Was that why you got back at Heath the way you did at the college finals?
Well, Heath is always trying to be mean to me, and I love Heath, but he's always messing with me. And the worst thing was that happened again at Hambone's rehearsal dinner was on the night of the deal. And so Chase Servey, he gets a phone call and you've been selected for the national finals of the pickup man, and everybody cheers and everybody's happy. And Tuckness, you've been selected for the bullfighter, and everybody cheers and hugs and everybody's happy. And then they're like, your phone call's coming, and same thing. You're the alternate. And then, 150 people that were watching me answered my phone, were like, I'm okay. So that part, I'm glad, because it's me. It's selfish to. I feel, actually looking back, I feel so stupid because, man, God's been so good to me, and I got way more than I deserve, and I got an awesome wife, and so I kind of had to check myself because I'm like, my life is great. Why am I so depressed about one rodeo when I get to work Denver, I get to work Rapid City, San Antonio, Austin. I got the rodeos that anybody would kill for, and I'm being a baby because of the NFR. I'm like, that's not fair, and I felt so stupid and silly at the same time that that's why I've just backed clear off of it. And I love the NFR. I still love the NFR more than anything, and I love watching it. But I love watching it on a comfortable chair with my good friends at Boyd Gaming, supporting the NFR since it came here. And Rumps Rodeo Party, trademark Rumps Rodeo Party every night, Bourbon Street Lounge, start at 5 o'clock, special guests, drink specials. And so where I'm at's good, and I'm going to watch every round, and I'm going to cheer for my friends. I'm going to hug Tilden tonight on stage with Jim Boy. Like, we're gonna do it up. We're gonna do it up.
Oh,
I ain't even going to bed tonight. I'm not even going to go to bed. I'm going to go straight.
I got direct traffic here a little bit, you guys.
I'm going to come get my bag and get on the plane. I'm not even going to lay my head down until I get on the plane.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
Tomorrow morning.
We've got a lot of questions about breakaway roping.
Yes, a flag has to be at the end of the rope with a knot.
Yes.
When do you think it's going to get to the Thomas and Mack?
I don't know how to answer that, because I do know that contractually in the agreement between Las Vegas Events, Las Vegas Events is the committee for this rodeo, and they require the PRCA production. They don't want anything over 2 hours and 15 minutes. And when I say they don't want anything over 2 hours and 15 minutes, they're pretty strict on that. They don't want 2 hours and 17 minutes. So I think that it would be a great addition, because, we had breakaway roping at the WCRA and in Corpus Christi in the Coliseum, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. Matt Snuthier won it. But I think for your time frame, I just don't know if they're going for a while. I think it will be in the Thomas and Mack. I think it will be in the Thomas and Mack, but I don't think it will be there in the next couple years. I mean, it's going to be a while. But look how long it's taken to get breakaway and PRCA rodeos. I mean, it's 2021. It should have been there a long time ago. But so I think if everybody stays calm and keeps moving it forward, we actually are hosting it right here at our casino at the Orleans Arena. So I think if everybody just stays calm, it will be there. It's just a bit of a transition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I say, the only way it gets there sooner is, like Jim Boy said, if they move tie down roping to Kansas with the steer roping. I mean, that would be the, unfortunately, the quickest way to get it inside the Thomas and Mack, and we don't want to see that happen. Yeah, we don't want to see that happen at all. No, but I tell you what, the breakaway roping has come a long way. It is the hottest event going. Those girls, I mean, well, we've known Larry D, Jackie, JJ Hampton. I mean, they've been building their legacy and their legendary status for years, and it's great to see it. It's great to see the youth coming up, Madison Uthier, Taylor Munzel, all these young girls, and it's lit in a fire. I know it's really helped me because I am not going to get in the barrel horse business for my daughters. There's no way, no how. I told both my daughters, my older one's 25, my youngest one's 14. I said, we can get rope horses, we can make rope horses, and I can teach you how to rope necks. That's, and thank goodness it's evolving, because now I've got a shot to really help them, because the barrel horse business, we're going to have to find an old ranch horse, rope horse that was just happened to want to run barrels to be in that conversation. But the breakaway roping is, I think I saw yesterday, Kelsey Chase won $25,000 at a breakaway roping yesterday there in Vegas. I mean, she's there at the finals too, going to run at that money. Right now, if you want to make money and you're the top end of the breakaway ropers, you need to be in Vegas, because you can rope all week long and walk away if you get on a roll with a lot of money.
I wish that the breakaway ropers, though, would be a little happier.
Smile more.
And I did that every day at Corpus Christi, like in those performances, we had 10,000 people there, and they would be like 1-9, and then they would just like ride out the arena. They would just, like, their dog just got hit by a car. Like, I'm like, girls, throw your hat, get excited.
But think about it. Look how long it took. I mean, it's the same thing. Look how long it took for the steer wrestlers to do a jig, like to be excited about their runs too. I mean, it's almost part of the industry. Like, you just get in, you get out. It's so much run as a business. Like, it'll take a little while for everybody to loosen up a little bit.
And I got to watch a lot of that, because when I had a broken leg, and I was laid up at home, I would just take painkillers and watch every run of the American qualifier. So, like, when breakaway roping is good, there's nothing better. It's about like anything. When it sucks, it sucks. Like, I've been at rodeos that have been fantastic, and then other ones where, you got 8 miss, and it's not. But that's the same with team roping, or
it's
anything.
Like
realistically, Tony, you can probably answer this. Realistically, how long would it take to get through 15 breakaway ropers?
I don't think it'd take another 10 minutes. I mean, just personally, but there's so many variables, calves in the chutes, horses being set. But I think you can do 30 seconds a run, so I'd say 10 minutes from start to finish. But then again, where are you cutting that 10 minutes out of the perf to keep you under that time frame?
You could cut out Easton Corbin.
Take 10 in each event.
Cut out Easton Corbin. There you go. There you get your breakaway roping. And I think, because it is such a fast-paced event, but I think Grum's right. It's like anything, man. If they get tapped off and they're 2 flat, 1-9, 2-2, I mean, the crowd would be into it. But then again, you get those rounds where we've seen it in the team roping where it starts off slow, and then you're just hoping you get 5 clean runs. So I mean, it's like the tie down roping last night. It started off a little slow, but then they tapped off there at the end.
Yeah. Well, so I know everybody has their favorites for tonight. We're coming up on just about the 2-hour mark again. The longest morning show in the history.
I told you it's better than Kelly and Ryan and Hoda and Kathy Lee. We are the best looking morning show on Facebook right now.
Not better looking than what's that? Maria Bartimamoto. What's her name?
don't know.
She's hot. I love her.
She's hot.
I love her like I love Tilden.
I didn't think you were from California. Boy, that's you loving everybody the same.
Hey, Dirty 530, Marysville, California. What? Flying you.
You've been hanging out with Reno way too much this week.
Yeah, I tell everybody that I'm kind of Californian. So, yeah, my sister lives in California now, so I'm practically Northern California now, not Southern California, not where down there where it's
I'm central.
crazy.
I'm Central California, coastal area.
Okay. Yeah, you are. You can say coastal.
Yeah. Hey, for another 8 months is all. That's
Amen.
And then he's evacuating.
Yeah. I'm pulling the eject button.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much. Justin, we appreciate your time this morning. I know it's not great to be getting up early after all that, especially after hearing about all the other schedules.
I feel wonderful.
But we appreciate it. So good luck with the rest of your week. I hope everything goes well for you. And, let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. And you might I now have your phone number and your email, so you might hear from me again.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a good day. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you. All right, you guys. So third episode of NFR Hangover. Man, it's been a good week so far, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we've got. Jim Boy, you're not going to be with us tomorrow, right? You're going to be traveling?
You're taking the big bird home, huh?
I'm going to be severely tired in the morning.
Hopefully it'll be a good tired, man.
It's going to be.
Hydrate, hydrate, Jim Boy.
I already started.
How's Emily feeling?
Good.
And good. Chongo, so I missed everything last night. Chongo ran good last night.
First two really good. Third kind
of come out of the third a little bit, kind of stepped wide out of the third. But I mean,
first two are really good. I was like,
yeah.
But
and the only event we didn't touch on from last night was the tie down rope, and it was cool to see Shad Mayfield win the round last night. I mean, he blitzed 1-7-2, 6/10 faster than Corey. Haven Medjid, I mean, he wins.
Yeah,
third.
I was going to say Haven was right up there too.
Yeah, Haven, he was a second behind Shad, but Shad, you could see he, is almost like he got that the weight off his shoulders. He just went out, let it rip last night, and blew through 1-7-2. Tough Cooper comes back, makes a great run, after having the barrier in the first round. And then Hunter Heron, Justin Smith wins 5th. Hunter Heron wins 6th. Shane Hanchey goes 8-9 last night. Makes a solid run. And the only thing is a little concerning, and like I say, I just noticed it, and that's from the coaching perspective and competitor perspective. That horse, both, first round when he, threw his hands over the crowd went wild, that horse kind of spooked and stepped away, and he did it again last night. I hope that doesn't become an issue, as it goes on in the week. So.
Yeah. I do have a correction to make about in the morning. I may not be on the plane. If Corey Solomon can't find his horse in the morning, I might be riding him back to Kansas.
Okay. Well,
we're in need of a good calf horse right now at my house. And that horse, when he got that's how important them horses are, them calf horses. Because Corey, when he got that calf last night, that horse pulled that calf just right.
Oh,
the calf was in the head. He hadn't flanked in the air. I mean, a 10-year-old girl could have flanked that calf last night because that horse helped him.
That horse did his job.
That horse pulled it exceptional at the right time. It was a great run.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Anything else you guys have to add?
I think the first two rounds, were fun watching. Back to the bull riding, I was, the Cowboy Channel showed JB in the chute. I saw him run it through his finger, and I'm thinking, ooh, this is kind of the semi-eliminator pin, but I mean, it's JB, he's going to do it. And then I couldn't see because the camera, the one thing I did notice, there's a lot of glitching, a lot of skipping going on. And next thing you know, JB's hung up and dragging on the sides. I will give those three bullfighters, tip of the hat, because they did an outstanding job getting him out of there, because he was knocked out a lot sooner than I thought initially. You know, I thought he was hung up, and then you watch the replay. He's out. I mean, it got him right alongside the head here. And but yeah, when he ran it through his finger, I'm thinking, you know, it's JB Mooney. You're not, you know, that's not shocking. But and then, like I said, I couldn't tell exactly what happened, but it looked like he was beat right from the get go on that ride. So, but
I do have an interesting comment. Was there a rerun in the calf roping last night?
No. Well, so what happened is Ty Harris got a bad gate and pulled up, and so he ran the extra, is what it was. So
okay. There you go.
As it wasn't a rerun, it was just he pulled up because he didn't get a good go, and you know.
That's what you have to do, though. I mean, you learn that from the very beginning. If you get hooked up, if you hit your rope on the barrier,
you know, he pulled up, ran the extra, and you know let's see what he did last night. He wound up being 9.7 on the extra. So, like, you know, Joe Beaver was saying, you know, sometimes the extra was too good a calf. That's why they put him in the extra in the pin.
Yeah.
And last night, I mean, that calf just, you know, he's 9.7. You know, it's just like I say, the only no time last night in the tie-down rope was John Dowsh. You can kind of see that the you know, NFR jitters kind of, you know, might have got to him, missed the barrier, and just kind of got behind. But overall, like I said, I think the first two performances were great. I think the Cowboy Channel is working some stuff out, but overall, it's great to be able, you know, people are nitpicking on Facebook, and you know, I even last night, like I said, I didn't do any spoiler alerts. I'm starting to feel better with this Vegas crud that I've got out here in California, but I didn't get on and do any spoiler alerts or anything last night. But you know, people
comment about the watching the app or whatever. She was complaining about the announcer couldn't hear really good. And movie not stand. Well, then somebody kind of explained to her that she was watching the arena feed.
Right.
So I think there's some confusion for folks.
Yeah.
And we tried to watch the arena feed last night. It wasn't, you know, it's not real clear. It's more muffled. So we went back to the television broadcast, and they're doing a great job. And I think we've got to remember as spectators and fans, it wasn't that long ago that, you know, I mean, it was a while ago where you got to watch the last 3 rounds that came on at 9 o'clock on ESPN. And then we've evolved where we got all 10 rounds, but it was delayed. Now we've got a programming station that is doing it. We're going live. We're getting options. They're doing a lot of content. So, yeah, I mean, we've all criticized. We've all made, you know, remarks, but we've come a long ways in the industry to where we can sit on our couch and watch all 10 rounds of the NFR pretty much live, get great coverage, and not have to go to the webpage to see what's going on or see the results. And so
updates or whatever. Yeah.
There's going to be glitches, but in the big picture, we've come a long ways, and it's really cool. And like I say, thank you to the Cowboy Channel, RFD TV, for making that possible. Because I remember when they cut off the 10th round of Jim Sharp's trying to go 20 for 20, you know, and we went to, you know, downhill giant slalom skiing, and I bet you there was a lot of TVs that got broke right then and there.
What?
So, yeah.
Well, I was just looking at Cowboy Channel's Facebook page, and I bet you're right. There's still some people complaining about the sound. I bet they're watching the wrong feed.
Yeah.
Because it is a little confusing when you go in the app. There's one window kind of up above, and then there's another one that's like black down below. If you go in that one down below, that's the arena feed. If you go in the other bigger one, that's the broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to watch the right one. We'll get it figured out. And some people prefer the arena feed.
Well, and last year I did watch the arena feed every night, and the sound was good. And like I say, this year by the time I get home, my daughter's got it on, and whatever one they have on, I'm just sitting down and watching it. Yeah. Our internet has been so sketchy the last week here at the house that once it's going, I don't change it. Let's just get through the rodeo, sit here and watch it, and we're good to go. So, but
hope your router doesn't go out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I tell you what, I think, like I say, the first 2 rounds are in the books. A lot of things you're starting to see how the world titles are going to shape up, and 8 rounds left, but you kind of see the people that have the momentum and see if they can carry it on through the week. And Jess Pope in the bareback riding, Dirk Taverner in the steer wrestling. But, the first 2 events every night, we got back-to-back round wins, and we'll just kind of see how it all plays out. So I know I'm very thankful and feel fortunate to be on this with you guys. I truly enjoy doing it. Thank you guys very much for including me in here, every day.
Well, it's been fun. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be awkward not having you in Vegas now.
Yeah, boots on the ground is going to be, is going to be butt in the air tomorrow morning. So
you guys are going to have to get on and start pulling some favors and get some more guests lined up.
I got 2 more lined up for the rest of the week. That'll be pretty good, I think. So
all right, perfect.
Like I say, the last 2 days have been awesome with Dustin and with Rump. It was great. So yeah, and we've hit the 2-hour mark, so we're rocking and rolling.
I know. I know. Make sure you're telling them, like, well,
here we are.
We kind of talk a lot, so you better give us 2 hours. Well, I'll do the wrap up if you guys want to go. You guys have Jim. Have a good day today. Have a great weekend, you guys.
You too. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Heidi. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hovered right around the 20 to 30 mark for live viewers. If you guys want to, if you have any questions, post them. We invite the interaction. Also, please share it out. Tell all your friends. And if you are so inclined, email Patrick at RFD-TV and tell him if you like our show. Again, I'm going to do one more plug for our sponsors and our partnerships. Cinch Jeans and Shirts, Lead Don't Follow. You heard Rump say it too. We are proud to partner with them. And also, I'm going to throw up my uncle's bronze again. We are going to have a little contest for the naming rights of this beauty. It's just been completed, and we got to come up with a name. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm going to post something. Also, if you are in Vegas, make sure you head over to the Working Ranch Expo next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Las Vegas Convention Center, I believe. I might have to correct myself on that. And mention Bullfrog Creatives, and you can get 10% off any bronze that Con Williams and Williams Art Studio has put together. So again, we got naming rights for this. Go ahead and shoot your ideas on over. I think that's about it. Y'all have a wonderful day. And let me get to the right page. My production staff, me, is a little slow today. So you guys have a wonderful day, and we will catch you tomorrow morning.